Ramblin' Ted here. You know, if you know me at all, and a few of you seem to you know me by now, you know that I love weird stuff. Strange things, oddities, roadside attractions. And until last week, I didn't know that one of the strangest oddities that I've ever seen or heard of is right here, about 35 minutes from where I live, in the town of Doddridge, Arkansas. And that is a ferry, the Springbank Ferry to be exact, that is installed in a park here. And it's pretty amazing. I don't know why. Maybe we can find out together. Ramblin' Ted here. Check this out. It's a little bit of history there for you, and if you want to, you can pause that. Pretty interesting. This was a ferry actually used until 1995, which is amazing. I never drove on this thing, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute because it's pretty cool. But if you want to pause that and read it, dig that. Literally, there's Phoebe up there being crazy because she's kind of nuts. Literally a ferry, and you can, man, I could have drove up on this thing. This would have been the ramp you drove on to board the ferry. Apparently this one would hold like, I don't know how many cars, but it would hold 2 full semis, which was one of the things it did. It crossed before there was a bridge. In fact, I'll go down and show you where this ferry used to run at. Man, she's all over this thing. She's like a monkey. Can you go inside it?
You can't get in, but you can look through the window.
You can't get in? Oh, I was hoping you could go in there. Could you imagine getting in your car and driving on this thing?
Nope.
There was another ferry that...
I've done that before. I can't remember when.
Huh?
I've done that before. I can't remember when.
I actually crossed on another ferry on when they were rebuilding the bridge in 1986, I think, on Highway 82. We were going down to Shreveport to pick somebody up, pick up a friend of my brother's, and we drove on this ferry that you could only fit about 3 cars on. And I'll never forget it. Man, how'd you get through there? Hang on. Look. If I break an ankle or something, this is you see what happened, right? Okay. I made it. Oh, God, I almost didn't. It's all right. I'm okay. Oh, this would have been the operator station. Well, that's pretty darn cool. Looks like the dash panel off of an early 70s or late 60s GMC. It could be. There's your throttle control. I guess this was forward. That is so neat. That's so cool. Why are we literally on the ground? Like we're sitting on the ground. It's a ferry on the ground. It kills me. The world's so strange. I love it. Are you trying to break? You trying to break something?
Real tall. I'm trying to.
Oh wait, what's going on? Oh, I don't have the thing. There you go. Whew, having a little bit of trouble with my phone overheating, which I used to record these videos. I may have to end up getting something else to record them with that'll handle the heat a little bit better. But I was blabbering anyway, so it's not a big deal. Let me get out here where I'm further away from this baby and get you a view of how massive this ferry is that's sitting in a park. I mean, just look at that thing. It's huge. The Springbank Ferry, it was used until 95. It was decommissioned. I want to say a family put the first ferry on the Red River there. Oh man, back in the 1800s, and through the years, of course, it got upgraded. This one, I think they put into commission in the 60s or early 70s, and then was in use till 1995, then decommissioned and sent up to, I think, Table Rock Lake or Bull Shoals Lake, one of the two. It's probably on that sign over there that you can pause and look at. And then it was used there for a while, then sent back here. They got a hold of the government, and the government sent it back here to be an attraction at this park. So it's just pretty impressive. I mean, not something you see every single day. Also, take a look at that. I'm not 100% sure, but that looks an awful lot like something from an old McDonald's playground back in the 70s. Do those not look like hamburgers? That sure does look like some McDonald's Playland stuff. I think it is. That's amazing. And I just noticed something else that is really cool. Hang on a second. If you're a fan of the movie E.T., at the end of E.T., when they crash that minivan in that park, after they're dragging the big hose down the road with E.T., there is I don't know what that thing is, caterpillar? Just like this in that park. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And it's still there. You can still visit it in the park in Los Angeles where they filmed it. But I've never seen another one in a park. So I'm pretty happy to see this one here. That is cool. Springbank Ferry in the background. Yeah. All right. Whew. It is hot out here. Hopefully my phone won't shut off again. It's been giving me a few issues. Neat stuff, though. Neat stuff. I think what happened is I used my gimbal to charge my phone, and my phone was already fully charged, so it really didn't need it. And I think that charging through wireless like it does probably overheated it, because it seems to be doing all right now. But yeah, little tie-in to one of my favorite movies of all time, E.T. Good deal. It's where you drive up onto it. This is actually the boat. It's just basically a big tugboat that's hooked to the side that would pull it back and forth. Nice. Check out the propeller. This thing has towed many a car, and like I said, I think you could fit 2 semis on this at one time. Very cool. Very, very cool. Found a touch of shade to keep out of the sun. It is very warm today. It's around 100, a little over 100 degrees. It's getting definitely summertime in the south here. But yeah, so I saw this thing and I heard there was a ferry sitting in a park, and I just had to see it. And there's not a lot else in this park. Just a big ferry and a strange tie-in to E.T., which is kind of funny. But yeah, like I was telling you before my phone shut off, and I think it got deleted. I went across another ferry over the Red River once, but it was a tiny little ferry that literally could hold about 3 cars, and was pulled across on a cable by like a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine. It was janky and it was scary. And it was during the time I think they were rebuilding the bridge on Highway 82, and they used that temporarily. I was on my way down to Shreveport, Louisiana, to pick up a friend of my brother's back in 1985, I believe it was, and we were in a 76 Camaro, man. Yeah, I had a mullet, and we thought we were really cool, and we I guess we were pretty cool cats back then. I mean, I'm still pretty cool for my age, so. But this is neat. This is neat. I wish I could. I wish it weren't so hot and I weren't worried about my phone shutting off. I'm gonna go up on the deck of it though. I mean, how often do you see a ferry sitting in a park? And they actually have kept it in good shape. I mean, it looks really nice. It looks like you could put it in the water now and it would be seaworthy, which is just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. All right. I'm gonna tell you, if these barricades weren't here, I would drive my car straight up on this thing. I'm not gonna lie. They put barricades like that up for people just like me, because I'm the person who would definitely go up there. And there's your operator station, which I showed you. And over here, I guess is a little, maybe it's a toll booth. I believe it is. I believe that's where they would take your toll at. And that's just neat. That is just, it's just cool. It's pretty amazing. Oh, look. Okay, maybe I wouldn't drive up here because they're keeping an eye on us. I'm gonna wave here. But the sun's going behind some clouds. Good. Yeah, apparently you could pull 2 semis up on here side by side. I'll bet that was a lot of weight though. That would be pretty darn heavy. All right. I think I will head over to where this used to cross at and show you that, because it's not too far from here. We're 2 miles that way. Basically, the Red River is about 2 miles that way, so we're 2 miles from any large body of water. So it's just a ferry in a park, which is right next to some McDonald land equipment and an identical worm to what's in E.T. So that's neat. It's pretty cool. I did not expect that. But anyway, just a neat thing. I love weird roadside stuff, and this is definitely that weird roadside Americana. We live in a weird country, and I love it. I just love the weirdness. All right. You found a gazebo.
And it's got a fan.
Oh, what the? Oh, why? I'm out there in the hot sun. That's all right, though. Oh, man.
It's glorious.
I love gazebos. There is. That's moving some air, too. As the old commercials back in the 80s used to say for a restaurant, a Cajun restaurant in Shreveport, enough fans to blow your hair, which has stuck with me for 40 years for some reason. Across there.
Yeah, gotta go across the bridge.
We'll cross the bridge. Woohoo!
It's that red tin building by the white tin building. It doesn't have lights, so I recommend using your flashlight on your phone.
Why are there... I'm going to the restroom, and there's a Wolves of the Wild book laying here.
Yeah, I took a picture of it. I thought that was random.
That is random. Maybe werewolves meet here at night or something. You never know. One of the reasons I love small towns is stuff like this. These old buildings. One used to be a museum, it appears. I'm across the road. Not a lot of traffic. Oh, and when I say that, here comes a truck. Made it, though, before he ran over me. Good deal. Maybe this is still a museum. Wow, it is. Look at that. Pretty amazing. Pretty neat. The old museum. There's a ferry sign in there too, you see it? Ferry closed permanently, unless you want to walk across it. Well, that's neat. Very cool. Very cool stuff. All right, let me wrap this part up. It is hot out here. I think I'm going to try to head over to where the ferry used to cross the Red River, and then I don't know, maybe another surprise for you after that. It's hard to tell. You never know with me. It's been a day. My camera's overheated a couple times. It is hot. I'm going to tell you, it's hot. I'm probably red as can be right now. It is definitely warm. So if I can make it across the street without getting run over, we're doing all right. Always look both ways, kids. Made it. Let me head back over here to my car. Look at that. You got your choice of two bridges. You can cross the flat bridge over there or the arched bridge over here. I'm taking the arched bridge again because it's got a book about wolves on it. I almost want to take that book with me, but I'm not, because I'm going to leave it there for the next person who comes along to discover and have a fun little memory of it. All right. Oh, yeah. All right. We're going to head out. Say goodbye to the Springbank Ferry for now. I think I'll come back here sometime because it's cool. Look at Phoebe. She always looks like she's a character from a movie or something. I remember when I was young and cool. Now I'm what I am now.
So you say that and I just want to go.
That was great. I'll use that as the thumbnail on the video and get a lot of views. Oh. All right. It's too hot to be hanging around here too much longer. We out of here. All right, we're down here at the Springbank Ferry. It's a boat ramp now. They turned it into a boat ramp. But let me tell you, I almost didn't think we were going to get down here. We've had several bad storms in the area lately, and there's some damage. The road is, I thought it was going to be closed, but they managed to cut trees and stuff out of the way. Let me walk over here. Let me show you. Kind of scary. Well, I mean, it wasn't scary, but it's kind of wild. The road is down to one lane of debris. Right over here. Let me show you. That's where we had to drive through to get here. Let me zoom in on it a little bit. It is rather narrow up through there. So yeah, a little bit of damage down here at the boat ramp, but I'm gonna head down there and take a look and show you where the Springbank Ferry used to run through. Found a shady spot right here. Show you the water down here. That's the famous Red River. This river runs man, I don't know, from way up north of Oklahoma, all the way through Oklahoma, all the way down through Shreveport, Louisiana, and I believe it empties into another river which ends up down by New Orleans. I'll check myself on that, but I think I'm right. It's been in a lot of movies. There's I think a John Wayne movie called Red River. I mean, now that might be the other Red River. There's two, but I think it's this one. It's mentioned in one of my favorite movies of all time, Six Pack, starring Kenny Rogers. I love that movie. We walked down here, but yeah, so there. I believe the ferry would have been here and crossed over to the other bank somewhere. Of course, this has been 25, 30 years ago, almost 28 years ago. And there is the bridge that they built to replace the ferry. And that is a tall bridge. But yeah, there you go. The world famous Red River. If you've never seen it, if you're not from around these parts. Depending on where you're driving to, you can cross the Red River as many as 3 or 4 times. It's quite a long river, and it winds around through here a lot. So, it's peaceful looking, and that peacefulness of this river is dangerous because it literally will suck you to the bottom in places. There are whirlpools. In fact, you can kind of see the water swirling there. Not a good river to swim in. People do it, and I think they're absolutely crazy for it because it's not the best place. You can tell they had a lot of rain. There's water running down the ramp here to the cross right here. Move up here in this little shady spot. Oh, much cooler in the shade. So warm that Phoebe decided to stay in the car with the AC going. And I don't blame her. I got to start doing these things much earlier in the morning. Yeah, if you look right there, see there's a swirly spot. And there are whirlpools and sinkholes in the bottom of this river that will literally suck you down, and no one will ever see you again. People have jumped off these bridges, never to be seen again. So, but it is a beautiful place to come and relax and meditate and contemplate sometimes. And I do that every now and then. Wide River, I don't know how wide it is going across here. Some places it's very, very wide. But yeah, so this is where, if you were, up until 1995, if you were crossing this river at this point, you'd have to take that ferry we just looked at. So, pretty cool. Interesting stuff. All right, that's going to do it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you. Finally got my 1,000 subscribers a few months back, and they're steadily building up a little more, and I'm happy about that. I'm very happy about that. And just, life's good. Life's pretty good. I'm having a good time. If Phoebe is actually my partner in a musical duo called Fed. She's Phoebe, I'm Ted. Fed. We thought real long and hard about that name. But if you get a chance to come see us, we play all around the Texarkana area, down to Longview. We're trying to move north into some of the college areas in northern Arkansas, and hopefully we'll do that soon. But if you ever get a chance, you see Fed playing somewhere, come and see us. We're an acoustic duo. We do mostly Phoebe's original music, and I think you'd enjoy it if you like original music, and like she's a great songwriter. She's excellent. So anyway, this is Ramblin' Ted saying what I always say: costs nothing to be nice to each other. Go out and have fun. Find stuff to do. There's a lot of interesting things on the side of the road that you would not imagine are there. You can just get on. I just Google stuff, and it comes up, man. I find all kinds of things. Anyway, till next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you. Take it easy.